You're smart. You know that. Everyone around you knows that. And yet you're miserable more often than the people around you who are clearly less intelligent. You lie awake at 3 a.m. running scenarios nobody else would even think about. You replay conversations from 3 years ago. You see problems before they exist. You feel things at a frequency nobody around you seems to share. And the worst part? You know you're doing it. You can see your own spiral happening in real time, and you cannot stop it. This isn't weakness. This isn't broken. This is your intelligence working exactly as designed. That's the problem. I'm going to show you exactly what's happening inside your brain, why it targets the sharpest minds hardest, and the precise framework to stop it. By the end of this, you'll understand your own mind better than most therapists will ever explain it to you. Let's go. Chapter 1. The gift that became a weapon. Most people think intelligence is a clean advantage, more processing power, better outcomes. Wrong. Intelligence is a double-edged blade, and most smart people are bleeding out from the wrong side of it. Here's what actually happens. Average cognitive ability means you perceive roughly what's in front of you. You experience the present. You deal with actual problems. High cognitive ability means your brain generates possibilities, constantly, automatically, without permission. Psychologist Elaine Aron studied this for decades. She found that highly sensitive, high-intelligence individuals process stimuli at a neurological depth that lower cognitive individuals simply don't reach. Every conversation has 17 possible interpretations. Every decision has 40 downstream consequences. Every social interaction gets autopsied for days afterward. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what high intelligence is supposed to do. It's modeling, simulating, predicting. The same mechanism that lets you solve complex problems, anticipate risks, and think 10 steps ahead is the same mechanism that invents suffering that doesn't exist yet. You're not anxious. You're over-equipped. Evolution built you a Formula One engine and forgot to give you a racetrack. And that engine? It doesn't idle. It runs. All the time. At full capacity, on whatever fuel is available, including fear, including regret, including the worst possible outcome of every situation you've never been in. But here's the problem, though. Knowing your brain is over-equipped doesn't stop it. And for most intelligent people, understanding the cause makes it worse. Because now you're overthinking your overthinking. Chapter 2. The loop. Here's what nobody tells you about rumination. It feels like thinking. It feels productive. Your brain generates the same neurochemical reward signal during rumination that it generates during actual problem solving. Dopamine. Small hit. Just enough to feel like progress. You're not solving anything. But it feels like you might be about to. So you keep going. Psychologist Susan Nolan Huxema at Yale spent 20 years studying this. Her conclusion was brutal. Rumination is the single biggest predictor of depression in intelligent adults. Not trauma, not circumstance, not biology. The thinking pattern. People who ruminate after a setback stay depressed roughly twice as long as people who don't. Intelligence amplifies this because intelligent people are better at constructing convincing arguments for why the spiral is justified. You don't just worry. You build a logical case for your worry. You source it. You footnote it. You defend it. Your brain produces a Harvard-level brief for why everything is falling apart, and then you can't argue against it because the brief is technically accurate. The smartest people are the hardest to talk out of their own suffering because they have already anticipated every counter-argument. Hit subscribe before your brain talks you out of it. We're not done yet. But here's the problem, though. If rumination feels like thinking, and intelligent brains are wired to keep thinking, how do you break the loop without shutting down the variability that makes you effective? Chapter 3. The Observer and the Engine. Neuroscientist Viktor Frankl, writing from inside a Nazi concentration camp, identified something that modern neuroscience has since confirmed. There is a gap between stimulus and response, and in that gap lives freedom. Most people treat their thoughts as facts. Thought appears, behavior follows automatically. Smart overthinkers treat their thoughts as urgent reports that must be addressed immediately. Both are wrong. Your thoughts are not facts. They're outputs. Your brain is a prediction engine, not a truth machine. It generates the most statistically likely interpretation of events based on past data. If your past data includes rejection, failure, or threat, your brain generates rejection, failure, and threat predictions constantly. Not because they're true, because that's what the model learned. Marcus Aurelius understood this 2,000 years ago. He wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't being motivational. He was being neurological. The ability to observe your own thought process without being consumed by it is called metacognition. It is the single most powerful cognitive skill a human being can develop, and intelligent people already have the hardware for it. They just aren't using it. Here's the practical shift. When a thought appears, you don't engage it. You label it. That's a catastrophizing thought. That's a rumination loop. That's a threat simulation. You're not suppressing it. You're reclassifying it. From urgent report to background noise. Research from the University of Michigan found that people who label their emotional states, rather than immersing in them, recover from negative experiences 40% faster. Name it. Don't fight it. Don't feed it. Don't follow it. Name it and let it run in the background while you operate in the foreground. But here's the problem though. Metacognition is a skill. Skills require practice, and most intelligent overthinkers are so deep inside the loop by the time they try to apply this that they can't get enough distance to observe anything. Chapter 4. The Circuit Breaker. The brain cannot ruminate and perform a demanding physical or sensory task simultaneously. Impossible. This isn't philosophy. This is architecture. Your prefrontal cortex handles both deep analytical thought and real-time sensory integration. Run both at full load, and one shuts down. Psychologists call this cognitive load displacement. Stoic philosophers called it action as medicine. The Stoics specifically rejected passive contemplation as a tool for managing negative emotion. Seneca wrote, "Retire into yourself as much as you can." Translation: stop thinking, start moving, not metaphorically. Literally, cold water on your face, a brisk walk with no destination, a conversation about something completely irrelevant, anything that floods your sensory processing and starves the rumination engine of the attentional fuel it needs to keep running. This is also why flow states are so powerful for high intelligence individuals. When you're fully absorbed in a complex task, your default mode network, the brain's rumination headquarters, goes offline entirely. Flow is not escapism. It is the most neurologically efficient state a high cognitive brain can operate in. The problem is, most intelligent people treat their overthinking as identity. They've made suffering synonymous with depth, sensitivity synonymous with intelligence, confusion synonymous with complexity. Wrong. Clarity is more intelligent than confusion. Peace is not the absence of awareness. It's the mastery of it. Here's the thing though. You now have the full picture. Over-equipped brains. Rumination loops that feel like progress. The metacognitive observer that breaks the pattern. Circuit breakers that starve the spiral. You're not suffering because you're weak. You're suffering because your brain is powerful and completely untrained. That changes now. But one thing remains. Even with all of this, most intelligent overthinkers still fail at the same final step. They understand the system perfectly and still don't change. Because understanding without implementation is just more sophisticated suffering. That's why I made this video breaking down exactly how to build the daily discipline that makes every framework you just learned automatic. Without it, everything I just told you becomes another thought your brain loops on forever. Watch it next.